a daytime, and still after that he is not able to have a nice sleep, because generally if you do a lot of vigorous exercises, the child who is normally taking 6 to 7 hours sleep may go for an extra 1 hour sleep. So it depends upon how the child is going for your physical activities in a day. If it is, suppose it's a lockdown, the child is at home, he is more in a sedentary lifestyle, not much physical activities going on, then we can say yes, for a 7 hour sleep it's fine. But again, it should not be like that the child is going for sleep at 12 in the midnight and getting up morning at 8 o'clock. The pattern also has to be taken into consideration, what time the child is going to sleep. So generally we say for an adolescent, the children who are in the beginning of their adolescent age, but they are not crossing the age of 16 or 17, what we call as a teenage, they should go to the sleep to the bed maximum by 10:30 to 11. 11 is again on, I'm taking more on the normal maximum side, should to be around by 10 or so.
Yeah, that's true. More of a sedentary lifestyle. I mean, compared to school, when school is on, he sleeps much longer. Now, since the lockdown, sleep is a bit less. Then again, we tried to put him bed by 10, but he takes long to sleep. It takes long time for him to sleep. So any tips to...
There is the child, I believe the child is on the spectrum.
Yes.
And does he having sleep issues?
He always, right from the baby, he had less sleep. He wouldn't sleep long, like
right now you are not giving any melatonin and anything?
No medicine, no.
Okay, fine, that's great. See ma'am, first of all, there is a term what we call as sleep hygiene. Now normally what happens, I'm not talking about autistic children, even a neurotypical child. If a child goes for a nap in the afternoon, say for 3 to 4 hours, then definitely his sleep pattern will be disturbed in the night. So generally what we advise, whether it is a neurotypical and autistic child, try to avoid giving a sleep or a nap not more than 30 minutes to 45 minutes in a daytime. Okay, one thing is there. Then another thing what we include in the sleep hygiene is that during the night time, the caffeine, the liquid intake should be less or should be minimally reduced going for during the sleep time. The gap between the food and the gap between the dinner and the sleeping time should be less, should be more than 2 hours. There should not be use of any, music is going on by the side. Suppose the child is going for a sleep at 10 o'clock. There may be a lot of sensory issues which might be disturbing the child, either in the form of visual, either in the form of auditory. So that means to say in some other room, father is reading something, or parents or other family members are looking for watching the TV or any serial. That visual and sensory disturbances causes the child to disturb his sleep pattern. So those things have to be taken into consideration. Again, other factors can be, adenoid hypertrophies. These are the medical issues, but we generally take it them as the secondary causes. In the initial causes, the most important is sensory part. The texture, the clothes. Sometimes children are so fussy about the texture and the cloth of the bed sheet that they want that particular texture only where they can get a good sleep. So these patterns have to be taken into consideration depending upon what you feel and where you feel the child is having sensory issues. So accordingly you can work out. But yes, important thing is that avoid watching TV during the night time, especially going for the bed. Avoid giving them any liquids or milk or any other liquid intake. The gap should be more than 2 hours between the sleep and the dinner. So these are the basic things which you can look into.
Sure, I'll keep this in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next query is from Amanpreet. Please unmute yourself and tell your query.
Yes, ma'am. Sir, my son is 6 years old and is autistic.
Okay.
And sir, actually, he had adenoid hypertrophy, for which he got operated on 31st of January this year only, starting of the year. That was the problem persisted for 1 year. So we got him operated after 1 year because we were very apprehensive about a surgery of an autistic child, and the doctors were not ready to operate on him. Finally, we got him operated this year, January. During this time, because of this nasal blockage, he was very hyperactive at very irritated because of the blockage. We used to give him steroids and everything, whatever was recommended by the doctor, but still he could not breathe, he could not sleep. So the pattern of sleep was very disturbed for 1 whole year. After the operation, the doctor told us 6 weeks. Still, it is going to be disturbed for the next 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, he will get better.
Okay.
But still, I am facing the same problem this July till this July, that sometimes it is good enough that he sleeps at night. It is good. Some days are very few days are good, but on other occasions the sleep timings are very less. He just sleeps for 4 hours, not more than that, or he sleeps at very odd times. Like he'll be awake till 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and then he'll sleep whole day long till 12. Even if you try to wake him up, then he gets very aggressive and hits and bites and scratches you very, because that was a pattern during when we did not get him operated. That was the pattern, that was his method of telling us that I have a nasal blockage, I am irritated, help me out, clear my nose. He used to get irritated and he used to scratch us. We used to understand that this is a type of pattern because he has some physical problem. Now that I think that has become a behavior, and now whenever he's not able to sleep properly, and whenever he is not able to when you even if he gets awake due to something, he just starts scratching us. But the sleep pattern is very little. If he takes a nap in the afternoon for 2 hours also, then or 1 hour also, then he won't sleep whole night long. Or otherwise, if he sleeps at 8 or 8:30, he'll get up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Or if he sleeps at 10:30, then he'll get up at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. And very little sleep. So we are very much disturbed by that.
Okay, okay. Ma'am, see,
And
first
yes,
of all, yeah, please.
he has very sensitive issues.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
now because of the lockdown, I am not taking him to any OT classes. So I think those have also increased a lot.
Yes, yes. So, ma'am, since see you yourself have told me the answer that he has lot of sensory issues. Now, the first thing and the foremost thing which I would suggest you is to cut down his nap in the afternoon. See, this afternoon nap is very problematic for the children who are on the spectrum, because already their body is in a so much hyperactivity state. They have so much energy in their body, and it's very difficult for us to channelize the energy 24/7 in the right direction. So what happens, even if the children who are on the spectrum, they sleep only for half an hour in the afternoon, their body gets in a so much calm state that the energy, it's a method of conserving the energy. Now when they conserve that energy, that extra amount of energy which is that is present in the body, and that they utilize them in all sorts of mischiefs, in all sorts of activities which are not considered to be structural for their age. Why? Because they don't develop that much skills as per their peers. So the first thing is that avoid cutting his nap in the afternoon. This is the foremost thing you should start doing from now onwards.
That is not very on a regular basis. That is once in a while he takes an afternoon nap.
Okay, ma'am, that is
Otherwise,
fine.
he does not. Yes, sir. The thing is, even if on normal days when we all go to bed around 10:30, he's not ready. He'll go to bed around 5 a.m. in the morning, even if he didn't have any afternoon naps for very many days. That is a regular pattern. Sleep at 5 a.m. in the morning, 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and then sleep till whatever time he wants to. If you
Yes,
try to
see,
wake him up, then he gets
yes.
so irritated and aggressive.
See, ma'am, you imagine yourself in such situation that if we are not sleeping for 3 to 4 days continuously in the night, then in the morning definitely body will require the rest. We will go for a sleep. And suppose if we go for a sleep in the afternoon, in the morning 5:30 a.m., definitely we don't want any person to disturb us till 12 o'clock in the noon. So similar is the case with the child. Now he has, what happened, because of this continuous cycle, his body has developed this circadian rhythm of sleep. The circadian rhythm of the sleep pattern in your child has completely changed. Now his body has adapted to this biological cycle, that for him morning 5 a.m. is his sleep time. You got my point, ma'am? So this is how his body has adapted. So he feels happy by sleeping at 5:30, and then his cycle starts for the sleep. But what happens, Because if we disturb his cycle and tell him now you have to get up, or you tell him to go for a sleep at 10:30, this is not possible for him, because the pattern of the body has adapted such way. So in that case, what you have to do, first thing foremost, as sensory you have told, look for the sensory causes. And what is the age of the child, ma'am?
So 6 years.
6 years. And how about his receptive part? Does he able to understand your commands, your language, what you are explaining? He understands them properly?
Yes, sir. He understands, but he is non.
Okay. Doesn't matter, but his receptive part is good. So from now onwards, what you have to do, say, children also, one thing is there, if they are not able to understand the spoken language, they will be able to understand the visual skills or spatial language, what we call. So now, from now onwards, ma'am, please unmute yourself. Parents, please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself. There is a lot of disturbance coming from the back. Please mute yourself. So what happens? So now you start preparing the visual charts. Now tell your child now it is 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We have to go for a sleep. Prepare a chart. Show him the chart. See, this is the sleep. This is the sleep time. The moon has come. It is night. All lights are closed. Now we have to go for the sleep. Try this thing working out. Also look into the sensory causes. Suppose in the 9 o'clock, as I told in the previous question, that other family members may be watching the TV, or there may be some background music going on, or some other children, siblings may be going for the studying, or they may be watching the laptops. Try to minimize all those background musics, because they are a very big hurdle for the child. And initially, for say up to 1 week, by the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whatever pattern you choose, I would suggest between 9 to 10, you go with the child, switch off the lights and everything, prepare the chart, tell him a story in the form of visual charts. See, this is nighttime and whatever. Then accordingly, you develop this pattern, so that gradually his pattern starts developing to go for a sleep. And since you are not giving him a nap in the afternoon, that is fine. And also give him some physical activities in the afternoon, so that his body gets little tired of, his energy gets drained in the right direction. If he is very much hyperactive, give him some barrow wheels or some activities, physical exercises, as per your OT or as per your sports teacher, whatever you are doing. So try involve in that. Avoid and keep a gap of 2 hours or more between the dinner timing, what we call as a sleep hygiene. And if he is having a lot of video time or the screen time, cut that screen time. Obviously it is not possible to cut it to zero, but at least it should be less than 1 hour or 2 hours in 24 hours. So work out on these patterns. But if you have to work out on these patterns sincerely and efficiently. And if you are not able to work out on these patterns and feel that there is no result in the sleep improvement, even after 3 months of practicing this or 2 months, then we have to look into what we call the melatonin and hormonal therapy. But that is the last resort. So try working out on these issues. Hopefully you might get improvement on your sleep issues in your child.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next question is from Kalyano. Please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hi, sir. This is Kalyani.
Yeah.
My son is 5 years old and ADHD.
Okay.
He wakes up in the night time and lays on the bed silently. Sometimes he wakes up and roams around, but is mostly silent. Is this called a sleep disturbance?
That's it. Other than this, there are no issues?
He is hyperactive and all issues at the daytime, and we are using a medicine like AK and some medicine to make him sleep. 1/4 of the time.
Melatonin you are using? Doesn't matter. Okay, you are using. Okay, you are using. Doesn't matter. So other than this, any other medications you are using, or other than the problem which you are telling, he wakes up in the night for some time and remains silent and then goes for a sleep? How long then he goes for a sleep? After how long?
He wakes up at 7 or 7:30 and goes to sleep. The afternoon 1 hour I'm allowing him to sleep, and again in the night 10 p.m. At 9 p.m.
No. 7:30 in the evening he goes for a sleep. Then
No, no,
10:30,
7:30 in the morning. He wakes
7:30.
up
Okay, and he goes for a sleep what time?
in the afternoon, 3 to 4, approximately 1 hour.
1 hour. That is fine. In the evening, in the night time, what is his time to go for the bed?
I'm giving medicine at 9 p.m. and he's going to sleep around 10:30 p.m.
Okay. Now between 10 p.m. to 7 p.m., is there any pattern? How many times is getting wake up or is sleeping comfortably without any problem?
He sometimes randomly in a week, one week per day,
Hmm.
sorry, 1 day per week,
Hmm.
he'll be waking up and will be silently laying on the bed, and try to wake up me, like he's having sense issues, like he will be putting his arm in armpit. So that type he'll be trying to do. He will be waking me up, and there will be a disturbance. Like sometimes he'll go back to sleep. Sometimes
Uh-huh.
he'll be silently seeing like that. Silently he'll be laying in the bed.
Okay. Now,
Sometimes he goes back to
now,
sleep.
now, along with that, during that period when he gets up in the night, does he have uncontrolled laughter or humming without any reason? He may start laughing or smiling.
No, no, not after using medical use at 9 p.m.
No, no. I'm asking, does he have any unusual sounds or any unusual
No,
humming or laughing, crying during that period when he gets up in the night?
no, no.
No, no. So although ma'am, it is a part of sleep disturbance. It is a part of sleep disturbance. But since you are already on the medicine, probably I think you must be giving melatonin because that is the only prescribed medicine which we are giving. And it also depends how long do you find any improvement compared to the previous pattern of his sleep?
Yeah, there is improvement.
There is improvement. So definitely you don't have to worry much. If it is happening once in a week, then you don't have to worry much. Just it may be a tactile issues or it may be fungal issues. Just rule out the fungal issues in the child by doing food intolerance or going for a stool culture. Or it may be also sensory issues in the form of tactile issues. He may not be comfortable with the texture or the full clothing or the half clothing. So
Yeah.
it may be a part of it. So you can work on the sensory issues. But as of now, we are not very much concerned for his sleep disturbance because it's just happening once in a week and that too for a very minimal period. So we don't have to do any active intervention. But yes, on the side parameters, we have to look into the sensory issues and just resolve if there are some fungal issues going for the stool fungal culture test.
So what is your opinion on using medicines before to make him
See, ma'am,
sleep?
medicine I generally don't prefer because in 90% of the cases, even if you go through the guidelines, the nice guidelines, which are considered to be the best guidelines for autism. In fact, I will, if the people are there, if you are on my Telegram group, we'll share you the guidelines. So there they have clearly mentioned that in 90% of the cases, the causes are sensory issues. So if we work on the sensory issues, the problems can be resolved. Why I'm telling that? Because definitely when we start giving melatonin, the results will be getting very fast. Parents will be happy. It will be a easy, easy going for the child also. We are struggling through so much nightmare. The children are not going for a sleep. But the problem is, it is totally dose dependent. The results will be, will be very transient. The effect of this melatonin will be maximum for 12 to 16 weeks. And beyond that, the body threshold level for the melatonin increases, means the amount of melatonin when we have to give for the child keeps on increasing. As the child keeps on growing weight, he keeps on chronological age starts increasing from 6 to 8, from 10, 12. The dose of melatonin also keeps on increasing and then becomes the problem in the form of side effects. But the main problem is that it is not considered to be a drug. So it has been, I would say misused even more. Irrationally, it has been used for a lot of time because without the prescription of the doctor, you can get this drug melatonin from the pharmacy because it is considered to be an hormonal medicine. It is considered to be an hormone. So this is the reason that we should use in a very judicious manner and try to work out on the sensory issue. Should not be given for too long.
Okay, sir. Thank
Okay,
you for the information.
thank you.
Sir, for 5 years,
Yeah.
how many hours will be sleep required? 5 years.
Hello,
For 5 years old kid, how many hours of sleep required totally?
ma'am. For 5 hours of kid, that's what I'm telling. It should be around 8 to 10 hours.
Equal
Or
to?
you can say It should be 9 to 10 hours. 9 to 10 hours.
Okay, sir.
For a children who are less than 2 hours, they require 12 to 14 hours of sleep. And children who are between 2 to 5 hours, they require 9 to 10 hours of sleep. And children who are 5 to 10 years, they generally require between 7 hours. And above that, it depends upon, vary from child to child. Maybe 7, maybe 8, maybe 6 hours.
Okay, sir. Thank you for information.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Next question is from Redmi. Please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Lalit. This is Saujanya here.
Yeah, hi.
I'm a mom of 4.5-year-old child who was born as a preemie. Later on, when she was around 3.5, we realized that she falls under the spectrum, actually.
Okay.
She had a lot of developmental issues in the motor as well as in the language and everything. So her sleep pattern since beginning was very not like a 24-hour cycle. It used to go like for 2 days and 3 days, it used to be segregated in one pattern actually. Slowly, this has come down into a cycle way. After like 4 years, she started having a little cycle on her sleep. But still, we have little issues here and there. Like she gets little excited just before going to sleep. I don't know why it happens, and I'm trying to figure out what are the different causes for that. But the thing is, she'll be all calm. We'll be reading the stories and everything. She knows it's the bedtime. We'll be sleeping and having a little story times and all. But somewhere just before where she drowses and goes into the sleep, just before that, she gets a little super excited and she comes out of it. I don't know why this startup or jump up thing happens just before the sleep.
So, what inference I could draw from your question is that you mean to say she takes a longer period to go for the sleep, but once she goes for a sleep, it is fine.
She had a lot of waking up in between the nights, but that has gradually come down. Like 3-4 times in a night, she used to wake up. We had to carry her and then pat her for almost like half an hour, then put her into back to the bed. But this has come down gradually. It is developing good. That's a good sign. But still, she wakes up two times at least in a night, where we have to just like pat and she goes back to the sleep. This is right now the condition, but this was not like that before. But still, before going to sleep, just before the bedtime, some days she'll be like almost drowsing up, and suddenly she wakes up and she gets super excited. I mean, like then she thinks over about the story or some undone things that she would have done, or some negative thing that would have happened in the daytime. She thinks of that and she jump starts and she gets like excited. Then again to go back into again, like calmer state, she takes around like half an hour to 45 minutes.
Okay. So, ma'am, see, first thing I would suggest, how frequently it happens?
Like around like once a week, I could say. Not every day. Some days are very nice, like she'll go calm and she just goes into the sleep. There's no problem at all. But some days she goes and like she'll be like, you could literally see her eyes drooping down and like, okay, she's sleeping. But suddenly she'll wake up and like it'll be just before the sleep arrives.
Okay, ma'am. See, definitely this is the anxiety issue is a known issue in the children who are on the spectrum. Now, what happens? There is one problem, or I would say one issue in sleeping regarding the sleeping issues in children who are on the spectrum. What happens? There are basically two patterns of sleep. If I go little technical, they are called as NREM, that is non-random eye movements, and rapid eye movements. Now, to simplify it, basically these are the two sleep patterns. In the initial sleep pattern, where the child goes for a sleep, and once that is called as a subconscious sleep pattern, I would say. And in the second stage, what we call as a REM, rapid eye movement, where the child goes into a complete sleep, where when we going for the dreams, that there'll be eye movements, that we call the child has gone into a completely the sleep pattern or the conscious sleep, I would say subconscious. So as a result of which, what happens, the initial phase, the phase which lasts for for 2 to 3 hours, after that, when we go for a sleep, we don't go for into a drowsy or the dreamy state of sleep immediately. It takes around 2 to 3 hours. But in the neurotypical children, even those 2 to 3 hours are not disturbing, because they are already in a calm state. But children who are on the spectrum, that sleep pattern is not in a calm state. So what happens, even if there is a mild disturbance in the form of sensory issues, which might not be annoying to us, but it might be annoying to the children who are on the spectrum. For example, we are going for a sleep. Suppose I go for a sleep at 10 o'clock, and suppose I'm going for a REM, that is drowsy state or sleep pattern or dreamy at 12 o'clock. So between 10 to 12, although I'm not in a state of complete sleep, but I will be in a sleep in such a pattern that even some TV or music is going on, that would not disturb me. But similar, if this thing is on the spectrum, if there is some sensory noise or some auditory sounds or some bright lights or some anything unusual which they have done in the morning, that might come in their conscious mind, and that will tell, and that will result in waking them. So
you mean to say a kind of a trigger that usually brings her back into the excited mode, you mean to say?
Yeah, I mean to say that this the time period for the children to going into a drowsy or dreamy state where they are not disturbed by the outside environment, it's longer. So if it takes 2 hours for us, it might be taking 2 to 3 hours for the children. So make sure, again, in this thing, what you have to do before going for the bed, you be with the child, talk some good things. What have you done in the afternoon? What was your day pattern? What we have done? As you are narrating him some good, nice stories, sleep stories, you narrate them, explain, talk to her. And outside music and environment should always be cut off. The room should be very calm. It should be free from the noises. It should be a very cozy and relaxed room so that she feels comfortable with them. So I think these the things you should work out, and the things can resolve gradually.
Doctor, one more thing I wanted to ask. She does have sometimes, the teeth biting in the sleep. She bites the teeth in the night. To such an extent, the one of the teeth has got like a little chipped off on the surface.
Ma'am, this is what we call bruxism or teeth grinding during night. This is a part of sensory issue, or it may be a part of dental caries. First of all, you get in check with a dental dentist. If there are no caries and teeth and everything are fine, then you have to look for the oromotor sensory issues. If she's having lot of taking things in the mouth, sucking lot of things, and even the non-edible things, or she has lot of biting issues, or she feels like taking lot of crunchy foods in the mouth, or there is difficulty during brushing. So these are, or there is problem in blowing, spitting, sucking. So these are, she doesn't like to have a messy food around this area. She wants it to be clean all the time, or she has problems during chewing. So these are all the problems which indicate the oromotor part of the sensory issues. So probably the reason for most of the cases for bruxism or teeth grinding during sleep is this pattern. So you try to resolve these issues, discuss with your OT or with your oral placement therapist, whoever you are in concern with, and probably things can be resolved.
Thank you, doctor.
Okay.
I'll request all parents to please ask one query, as we have many in waiting, so everybody can get a chance. Sonal Mundra, please unmute yourself and ask your question, ma'am.
Hello.
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 You're not audible, ma'am. There's some problem with the connection. I think till we get her back online, can we proceed with the next query? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Please tell the query.
Okay. My daughter, she's 3 years and she used to have it a year back, but after I started her probiotics, they improved. Some days she will get up in the night crying.
Ma'am, there is a lot of disturbance, ma'am. Your voice is breaking too much. We'll take up your query after some time, ma'am.
Okay.
I think, Dr. Neha, we should proceed with the next query.
Can you take the query from the chat?
Yeah, I'll take the query from the chat. Please type your query.
Write more details. I'll write more details. Please take the query from the chat. Okay.
Okay. Her query is already written. My daughter is 3 years old and on the spectrum. Sometimes gets up during the night crying madly, and I have to calm her down. So, Dr. Lalit, please answer this one, and meanwhile, she can type more details.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, Dr. Neha, could you please repeat the query?
Okay.
All right. Her query is, just a second, sir. Yeah, her daughter is 3 years old, on the spectrum, sometimes gets up during the night crying madly, and she has to calm her down.
Okay. Ma'am, first of all, is the child on GFCF diet or any restricted diet?
I don't think the network is supporting.
Yes. Hello.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, he's on GFCF diet. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
See, there is one term, or you have attended some of my webinars. There is a connection, what we call as the gut-brain axis. Now, what happens in children
Yes,
who
sir.
are on the spectrum? In children who are on the spectrum, there is a leaky of this gluten and casein. Now, normally gluten and casein are totally absorbed in the children who are neurotypical. But those who are on the spectrum, what happens? These are not completely absorbed from the body, and they are, as a result of which, they are not absorbed also, and they are not eliminated. So these breakdown products of gluten and casein, if we take in our body, those who are in the spectrum and those who are having intolerance to them, they leak through the brain, and through the brain they through the gut, they go through the brain, and there they can cause problems of hyperactivity, anxiety issues, and sleep disturbances, or as you are telling, that suddenly wakes up and starts screaming. So that may be an indicator of fungal issues. Plus, they
Okay.
might be gut dysbiosis. That is, the good bacteria's count may decrease, and the yeast, or what we call the bad bacteria, they might increase. So since the child is already on a GFCF diet and you are facing such issues, it probably indicates toward the fungal issues. So just if you might have done a food intolerance test or anything, you might have noted they might be written yeast intolerance. So just keep a check on that, or if you are not able to resolve that thing, you can get in touch with us. So probably I think we have to work on these yeast issues.
Okay, sir. I have started her on probiotics since a year and her sleep has improved. Earlier, she used to sleep only for 8 or 9 hours. Now she can sleep 10 to 12, 11 hours in total. And her night sleep is like 6 hours complete sleep she gets. Earlier, she used to get up at 3 or 4 in the morning, play for 2 hours, and then go to sleep. So that
Okay.
has drastically reduced since starting probiotics. Except I've
Great.
not done the fungal test, so maybe I should go for that now. Good.
Yes, and probiotics, if you are the probiotics which you are using, make sure already, since you are probably, I think you must be using a probiotic under the guidance of a professional, because there are a lot
Yes.
of probiotics which are there in the market, and there are certain strains of probiotics which are found to be specifically
Yes, sir.
good.
I had talked to you in that gut last
Okay.
Q&A session.
Okay.
You had given me Luteri, I think.
Yes, yes.
Huh.
So you are getting the
Luteri.
results from that.
That is just 3-4 days back only. So, but I
Okay,
had
okay,
started probiotics since a year back.
okay, okay. So
Okay.
continue with the probiotics, and just check on the fungal part. If there is fungal
Okay.
growth is there, then we have to work on the fungal issues. Otherwise, you continue with the probiotics for the time.
Okay. Sir, for the night crying, do you think that if ingestion of gluten or casein, accidental ingestion could have been the reason? Should I be keeping a data on that?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, you have to keep a data. And another thing is that in the food intolerance, have you gone for a food intolerance test?
No, sir. It's because it's the lockdown. You suggested me in the last
Yes,
Q&A
ma'am.
session, but I'm
Ma'am,
in a small town, so I don't have access to big labs.
okay, once you are out of the lockdown, I would suggest you to go for this food intolerance test, because through the food intolerance test we will get a lot of ideas. It's basically a dissection. We'll get to know that what is the intolerance levels to gluten.
Okay.
Accordingly, we can work on them, and accordingly we can decide, yes, how many fungal issues are there, what is the level of fungal issues, what is the level of gluten. So accordingly we can eliminate, we can stop, and we can process further. So just go for a food intolerance test. Other than gluten and casein,
Okay.
you will know a lot of things about the child in the food.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next query is from Ved. Please unmute yourself and ask your query, sir. Mr. Ved? Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi doctor. I have to talk about my 2-year-old daughter. She sleeps around 10 in the night, and in between, like after 2 hours, she will come and she'll sleep in my lap again. It's like
Hmm.
she has to, and this will be like after 2 hours. After that, also she will come and sleep in my lap. But there is continuous sleep also. But she comes and sleeps in my lap. And sometimes if you don't take her in her lap, then she'll wake up and then she'll sleep after 2-3 hours.
Ma'am, this is that she has developed that pattern. She has developed that pattern that mama is there, and after 2 to 3 hours, I want to sleep on a laps only. So this is the pattern I believe she has developed. So what you have to do? Do you tell him no, that no, you have to sleep there only, or you just you try to ignore her? When you tell him no, what is his reaction?
Then she'll be like, if you don't take her, she will be fidgeting, and she'll try to come and force herself in my lap. She will like carry
Yes.
me and put me in your lap. Otherwise, if you don't take her, then she'll be like fully awake, and then it's gone for 3-4 hours. She won't sleep then.
So, ma'am, now see, this is the pattern she has developed. So now, what you have to do, if
Okay.
now how to check whether the she has developed this pattern or it is attention-seeking behavior? You just replace yourself with your husband. Okay. Now, when she does that pattern, when she wakes up in the night and she cries for that lap, that I want to sleep on your lap only, mama, then you replace yourself with the father, and how does she responds? If she actually
No, we
feels
have replaced ourselves. She sleeps with both of us. She wants the lap either of her father or mine. She wants the lap and she will sleep. And she has like we play some songs for her for the sleeping, like a lullaby, and she'll sleep with that.
so, ma'am, and if you don't play that song, then
It's well like I have to hum like do something to make her sleep.
so, ma'am, see what you can do. Basically, this thing is basically acting as a reinforcer for her. Okay. So what you can do, see, we don't have to keep the child always on the reinforcer for a longer period of time. So you can reduce your lap or your father's lap will also become some form of, I would say, a reinforcer. So what you can do, if she is comfortable with that music of lullaby and she goes for a sleep with that, just remove your lap from away from that. Try to wean off those reinforcers in the form of lap which you are using, on which the child is comfortable, and also explain her that you are you have to sleep here, you are a grown child, whatever you have to do. If she's able to accept your understand your receptive language, she's that receptive power is that good, so you can explain her, and along with that you can go with this the musics and all which you are using her to make her sleep. But try to wean off these factors slowly and slowly, because I uh, really believe that she has developed this pattern of sleeping on the lap. Because if there is problem other than that, she would have gone for a sleep initially also on the lap.
Yeah, as soon as you put her in your lap, she will go to back to sleep. She won't wake up.
Exactly. So this is what I'm telling, because if there would have been actually a problem with her, or she's feeling, suppose adenoids are there, or she's feeling she's not able to breathe properly, or she has nasal blockage, in that case the child might feel that no, I have to keep my head little on the higher side. But when she goes for a sleep, you put her lie down on the pillow or on the bed, she's comfortable. That means to say
We
that she
don't
is
put the pillow. She just lie down on her bed like that only without the pillow. But the thing
and
is,
she's
like
comfortable.
earlier, then she's comfortable. Earlier, she
Yeah.
has a habit. She has a tendency, like she used to wake up at 2 a.m. and that
Mhm.
was a fixed time that she used to wake up. Like even if you make her sleep at 12 o'clock, earlier she used to sleep at 12 o'clock or 9:30 and 10, or sometime we used to try to reduce the time. Like we should make her sleep at 12:30 so that she will
Mhm.
forget the time 2 o'clock that she used to wake up. So that habit has been gone. But sometimes now, like from the last 2 or 3 days, it's like after half an hour, after 1.5 hour, she will wake up and then she will be start screaming.
She will be start
And
screaming
it's
for she will be start screaming for the lap. Yeah, I want the lap, otherwise I will not sleep.
no, even in the lap also she will be like screaming, like even she will be throwing her legs, and it's like something is paining or something. We don't understand that what is happening because she is not able to describe describe us that what she wants. But after 15 minutes, then she will either we give her something like a screen time, or give her some favorite toys, or give her something to give her in a hand to calm her down. Then she will calm down, and that means like, and then after 15 minutes we'll tell, okay, let's sleep back. But then the duration of sleeping will be like, she will be lying in my lap only, but she will be sleeping after 1 hour or 2 hours.
That is, ma'am, that is the usual thing in every children who are on the spectrum. That is, it's very difficult to make them sleep. The time to make them sleep is very, very long.
No, but in the night when she sleeps, she will sleep in half an hour only. Like 9:40, I start doing the sleep pattern. 9:30, I put her in the night suit. 9:40, I'll give her the milk, and 10 till 10:05 or 10:15, she'll be bed. She will sleep. She will sleep nicely.
Okay, then that is fine. That is okay. But just work out on the sensory issues.
Okay.
What about his sensory issues, and does he have tactile issues or visual issues? Probably she might be having. Maybe she might be having less, but definitely I think she might be having some sensory issues. So just work on the sensory issues and see what are about his tactile issues. Look for his look for his visual issues, and also look for his auditory issues. Might be during sleep time in the night or anything. She might be having some disturbance. Even the dark room which is there, that may be a visual factor. That may be also a sensory visual factor for the child that may cause them disturbance. Some children, they prefer to sleep in the light mode only. They want the light to be open, and then only they'll be able to sleep. Some children, if the room is very dark, that will be act as a visual sensory issue for them.
But
So
we
just
have
look into
tried
those.
the both thing. Earlier she used to sleep with the light on, but then that time she used to wake up like at 2 o'clock. I told you that time she used to. Now we have done like, as soon as she finishes her milk, we switch off the light, and after switching off the light, after 10 minutes she will sleep, and
So, ma'am,
she will sleep nicely. But
so, ma'am, yeah.
every night it will be a routine that she will come 3 or 4 times in my lap, and she will sleep in my lap or my
So, ma'am,
husband's lap.
ma'am, I believe this is totally a behavior then. Since we have discussed so much detail into that, and you have ruled out most of the sensory issues that we have discussed, that bright light and all. So I totally believe it is totally a behavior. She has developed that behavior, so you have to remove that. And the best thing, if she's comfortable in either Papa's lap or your lap, what you can do when she goes for a sleep in the night, you just be away from her. Either that this is the time period, suppose between 2 to 3 she gets wake up, try to be away from the room during that period, or you should not be in that room where she's sleeping.
Okay, so you're suggesting that I should make her sleep in different bed than us?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Maybe you can have a watch there, you can go in between to check she's comfortable or not. But that problem, awareness of the child ki mama and papa are here with me in the night, and again I can do that thing, and I can tell them, force them to, I want to lie them on the bed, on the lap. So that thing should not be given to her. So just try to be away from her during that period where she does this behavior. So I think probably we'll be able to fetch out even more that how she's working or how she's behaving. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Next query is from Muhammad Ismail. Please ask your question. And after this query, we will be taking probably the last query because we don't have much time. So, sir, please proceed with your question.
Yes, hi. Good afternoon, doctor.
Yeah, good afternoon.
My son is 2 years old. I mean, to be precise, 22 months. And he's diagnosed with global development delay. So he's non-verbal, and he cannot understand us also, like the reception is also not there. So since his birth itself, doctor, we are having an issue with his sleep. So it is that, he sleeps for half an hour and then wakes up. I mean, there is no such pattern that he sleeps at night or he sleeps at day. So whatever part of the day it is, like he sleeps for 1 hour and then wakes up, and then kind of he is awake. And then after 1 hour, he becomes fussy and we have to make him sleep. So it is like, every 2 hours he takes a nap. So even this continues till this day. So I just want to know, like you told us that, the sleep should be like 10 hours or, for this age group. So is it like, you mean to say, is it like continuous 10 hours, or even if I calculate his sleep hours, yes, he is sleeping for 10 hours, but it is broken down into several half an hours and 1 hour.
Exactly. So there are two things. For documentation purposes and to know the pattern, yes, for a child in the age of 2 years, 10 hours of sleep is there. Now what he's doing, he's breaking his hours of sleep. So as a result, his body is taking that 10 hours of sleep in a day, so which is making him comfortable and doing all the rest of activities. But yes, when we talk about that 10 hours, it should be actually a continuous period of at least 8 to 9 hours in the night and 1 to 2 hours in the daytime, because in a two-year child, it is not possible that he will not take a nap in the afternoon. So definitely 1 to 2 hours of nap in the afternoon and 8 to 2 hours of sleep during the night time, which should be a complete sound sleep. Now what happens when the child takes an 8 to 9 hours of complete sound sleep during the night? In the morning, his body goes in a very calm, relaxed state. His mind is calm. It's like, suppose if we sleep only for 4 hours in night, imagine ourselves when we get up in the morning, we have to rush for the office activities, how frustrated, how irritated, how, how our head feels. So this is the same thing which happens in the children, whether it is a 2-year-old child or 3-year-old child. Unless and until his sleep pattern in the night goes for a complete sound sleep, he will not be concentrated on any particular activity. His attention will be lost. He will not be concentrating on any, and that will come out in the form of, aggressive behavior or any other form. So it has to be a continuous sleep, at least in the night, for 8 to 9 hours.
Okay. Because, sir, I mean, we already consulted with few pediatricians, as you were telling in the previous answers as well. Try to avoid him to sleep in the afternoon. But the very, issue which we are facing is at night. We have to, pat him, walk him. I mean, like, very difficult to make him sleep. Like, we need to, pat him for 1 hour, or just cuddle him for 2 hours, and then he sleeps. But in the afternoon, when he wants to sleep, even if we don't do anything to him, even he's just lying on his bed, or we are just holding him on our hands, he just sleeps like that. So we are not able to control his sleep.
So this is why, because he has developed that biological pattern of sleep for his body.
Okay.
So see, there are there are some professionals, suppose in the BPO centers, they are working continuously in the night, and in the daytime they are sleeping. And now if you tell them suddenly from day tomorrow you have to work in the day and the night you have to go for a sleep, their body will go in a completely fuzzy state. It will be very difficult for them to adapt that night sleep pattern. Similar is the case with in your child also. So he has developed that pattern that, no, for me, going for the sleep in afternoon 3 o'clock is the night time. It is like that, because for a 2-year-old child with a global development delay, with a spectrum, doesn't know what is nighttime, what is daytime. For him, when he goes for a sleep, is sleep. It is not, he's not related with the day or the night. So we have to explain him, we have to teach him that now 9 o'clock in the evening or the night is the day sleep time. We have to go for a sleep. In the day we don't go for a sleep. So at least at this age, it will be too early for you to go for the visuals and visual schedules and all. I would suggest that if the child is in a global developmental delay, probably he's in the spectrum also.
Not yet diagnosed, sir, but most probably his features looks like in the spectrum.
In the spectrum. Okay. Does he have any eye contact issues, response to call name? Does he respond to name?
Earlier he was not responding, sir, but now he is responding.
Eye contact?
Yes, now he is. I mean, earlier when we used to, make him smile, he doesn't. But now, he smiles at us. Or when we smile, he smiles back at us.
Okay. Waving or bye-bye?
No, sir, but he claps. Like when we tell him to clap, he claps. But bye-bye, he is not.
Probably if not, with a global development delay, he might be in some, mild form of spectrum. So along with that, the most common reason which I have told you, because since he has been diagnosed recently, and also you are just started with the therapies and all, I would suggest work on the sensory issues, do a complete sensory profile of the child. In most of the cases, the sensory issues will resolve everything. So work with your team, work with your OT and therapist, work on the sensory issues, plus the things which I have suggested you, probably things will come better.
So just one quick question on this, because I was not aware that you just told me, I just picked up from that. Is there any test or anything, which can tell us what is the sensory issues with the child, sir?
Yes, there are sensory profile are there. There are total 9 sensory systems are there. Your OT or even we are doing, Dr. Neha, she is a sensory processing specialist. We are also doing these sensory profiles. You can get in touch with us or either drop us an email or on the Telegram. We'll help you out in the detail.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we proceed to the last question, since many will remain unanswered, so parents, please check the chat box. We have shared the details of our email and our WhatsApp number. You can get in touch with us and join our parent support group, and please put your queries there and we will be giving the answers there. So proceeding to the last query from S. Sahu. Sir, please ask your question. S. Sahu. Sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, please.
I think the parent is not available. So we can take up another query. Ajay, sir, if you're hearing, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I'm Ajay calling from Delhi.
हाँ जी, बताइए.
My child is just turned 4 years old.
Okay.
और मैं हिंदी में बोलूं ज्यादा ठीक रहेगा?
हाँ सर, हिंदी में बताइए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, बताइए.
सर मेरा बच्चा अभी 4 साल का हुआ है.
हाँ जी.
और 1 साल पहले से हम उसकी रात में जब उसको स्लीप सोने में बड़ी दिक्कत होती है, ASD है. और उसको सुलाने के लिए हमको ना उसे गोद में लेके बहुत हिलाना पड़ता है 1-1 घंटे तक.
ठीक है.
तब वो सोता है और रात में डिफिकल्टी सोता है. और वो 5-6 घंटे जब पहली बार सोएगा तो 5-6 घंटे के बाद उठ जाएगा.
ठीक है.
तो दिन में कोई गाना सुना होगा, कुछ होगा, उसका पैटर्न है. या तो हम उसको गाना सुनाएंगे या मोबाइल में गाना चलाएंगे, फिर सोएगा. अगर डिस्टर्ब हो गया तो फिर 2 घंटे के बाद 1-2 घंटे गैप लेता है, फिर 2 घंटे के लिए फिर से सोता है. और दोपहर के टाइम में वो 2 घंटे के लिए सोता है. दोपहर के टाइम में बहुत इजीली सो जाता है और कितना भी हल्ला गुल्ला होता रहे उसके सर के ऊपर जगता नहीं है. 2 घंटे सोता है. वो दोपहर का टाइम उसका बढ़ता जा रहा है. अब वो करीब 3 घंटे के आसपास सोता है दोपहर में. और रात का जो उसका टोटल टाइम हो रहा है अभी टोटल 7 आवर्स के आसपास ही सोता है. और कई बार उठता है. पहले 5-6 घंटे तो वो नहीं हिलता है. उसके बाद भी जितने भी 1-2 घंटे बचते हैं उसमें कम से कम 7-8 बार उठेगा, हमारी गोद में आएगा, हमारे पास आएगा, हिलेगा. हम मतलब हमारी भी नींद कभी पूरी नहीं होती उसकी वजह से.
सर देखो,
और ये स्लीपिंग का जो इशू है ये हम रिजॉल्व नहीं कर पा रहे हैं.
ठीक है. आप ओटी ले रहे हैं, सेंसरी ओटी पे जा रहे हैं आप?
हाँ सर, ओटी में जा रहे हैं. और ओटी 1 साल से ले रहे हैं. अभी लॉकडाउन में तो खैर बंद है, घर पे हम कर रहे हैं. बट ओटी लेने पे भी जो इशू, स्लीप वाला इशू रिजॉल्व नहीं हुआ है.
कहाँ रहते हैं आप?
सर मैं दिल्ली में रहता हूँ.
नहीं, दिल्ली में कहाँ?
सर वसंत कुंज में.
वसंत कुंज में रहते हैं. अच्छा, तो देखो जी अजय जी, सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो रात में ये सोते हुए हिलता डुलता बहुत ज्यादा है. जब आप इसको सुलाते हैं बहुत हिलेगा डुलेगा जब जाके सोएगा. उसका सबसे बड़ा कारण होता है प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव इश्यूज. हमारी बॉडी में सेंसरी सिस्टम होता है जिसमें से एक सेंसरी सिस्टम का प्रॉब्लम होता है प्रोप्रियोसेप्शन. अब जो प्रोप्रियोसेप्शन होता है वो बताता है प्रेशर, हमारी बॉडी को कितना प्रेशर चाहिए, कितना ज्यादा चाहिए, कितना कम चाहिए. ठीक है. अब इन जो प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव सेंसरी इशू होता है ना, मैं देखो आई एम नॉट एन ओटी, आई एम नॉट अ सेंसरी स्पेशलिस्ट, बट I am since I am in touch with lot of children who are on the spectrum, तो मेरे को एक बेसिक आइडिया है. बट पूरी डिटेल जाने के लिए आप या तो हमारे साथ जो हैं डॉक्टर नेहा, या आप अपने सेंसरी ओटी से डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. बट मैं आपको जो स्लीप का इशू है वो मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस बच्चे को लगता है कि प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव इश्यूज बहुत ज्यादा हैं. उसके कारण क्या होता है, ये अपनी बॉडी को बहुत ज्यादा हिलाता है. He wants that extra pressure कि मेरी बॉडी को वो एक प्रेशर मिले. अब कुछ बच्चों को होता है कि उनको अगर थोड़ा सा भी आप जिम बॉल से प्रेशर दे देंगे वो एकदम हाइपर हो जाते हैं. कुछ बच्चे होते हैं जिनको आप जिम बॉल से अच्छा प्रेशर देंगे पूरी बॉडी का, देन दे विल गो फॉर अ काम स्लीप. तो एक सबसे पहला मैं आपको सजेशन दूंगा कि रात में सोने से पहले इसको 5 मिनट जिम बॉल से प्रेशर दे दो पूरी बॉडी पे. इसको उल्टा लिटा दो प्रोन, और पूरी हेड से नीचे लेग्स तक पूरी जिम बॉल जो बड़ी वाली होती है उसको धीरे धीरे रोल करके उसको दो 5 to 10 मिनट्स. ठीक है.
ठीक है.
दूसरी चीज आपको ये करनी है कि क्योंकि बच्चे का रात का पैटर्न स्लीप कम होता जा रहा है, तो एक नेचुरल सी बात है वो डे में नींद पूरी करेगा. देखो, चाहे स्पेक्ट्रम का हो, चाहे न्यूरोटिपिकल हो, चाहे बूढ़ा हो, चाहे जवान हो, उसको नींद तो पूरी करनी है. वो कैसे भी करेगा, उसको करनी है. तो अगर बच्चे की रात में नहीं हो रही तो वो डे में नींद पूरी करेगा. दिस इज अ वेरी नेचुरल रिस्पॉन्स फॉर एवरी पर्सन. ठीक है. तो उसको सबसे पहले तो दिन में वो इसलिए सो रहा है क्योंकि उसकी बॉडी इतनी ज्यादा टायर्ड अप है कि कितना भी म्यूजिक हो, कितना भी हो, वो सो जाएगा. ठीक है. अब नाइट में वो क्यों नहीं सोता? बिकॉज सेंसरी इश्यूज नाइट में सबसे ज्यादा तंग करते हैं बच्चों को. एक तो मैंने आपको प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव का बताया. दूसरा इशू जो आप बता रहे हैं कि वो सोने के एक बार उठ गया तो जरा सा भी डिस्टर्बेंस हो गया. वो डिस्टर्बेंस किस कारण हो सकती है? या तो हो सकती है उसको टेक्टाइल इश्यूज हो, मतलब जो पिलो, यहाँ तक कि बच्चों को इतने टेक्टाइल इश्यूज होते हैं कि आपने जो बेडशीट बिछा रखी है बेड पे, उसका टेक्सचर भी उनको नहीं पसंद आता. कभी उनको चुभेगी, कभी उनको वो कॉटन वाली सॉफ्ट चाहिए, कभी उनको सिल्की वाली चाहिए जो स्लिपरी हो. तो ये चीजें बहुत हैं. कभी होता है कि कलर, उनको रेड कलर की चादर चाहिए, उनको ग्रीन की ही चाहिए. दे मे नॉट बी एबल टू एक्सप्रेस दैट, बट यू हैव टू फिगर आउट. दूसरी चीज आप ये देखो कि रूम में कोई ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कोई ब्राइट लाइट चल रही है, बहुत ज्यादा डार्क रूम है. तो ये चीजें आप फिगर आउट करो कि वो जब सोता है, जिस टाइम वो काम स्लीप लेता है, तो उसमें आप चीजों को ऑब्जर्व करो कि आपने क्या क्या चीजें बिछा रखी हैं रूम में, विजुअल्स कैसे हैं, ब्राइट लाइट कैसी है, रूम का टेम्परेचर कैसा है। इवन अब गर्मी इतनी, आप एसी चला रहे हैं, हो सकता है जो रूम का एसी टेम्परेचर है, व्हाट वी कॉल एज थर्मल रेगुलेशन, तो थर्मल सेंसरी इश्यूज भी बच्चों को बहुत होते हैं। कुछ बच्चे होते हैं जो गर्मी में उनको पूरी बाजू की शर्ट पहननी है, चाहे कितनी भी गर्मी हो, और सर्दियां होंगी तो उनको हाफ की पहननी है, दे आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल विद दैट। तो एक तो टेम्परेचर चेक करो रूम का कि भाई वो कौन से टेम्परेचर में एनवायरनमेंट कंफर्टेबल है। सो दीज आर ऑल बेसिकली सेंसरी इश्यूज। जो चीजें आपको ये ओटी नहीं बताएगा आपको थेरेपी सेंटर पे, ये चीजें आपको फिगर आउट करनी है। बट यस, जो बेसिक चीजें हैं जैसे प्रोप्रियोसेप्शन है, सेंसरी इश्यूज हैं, टेक्टाइल इश्यूज हैं, उनकी बेसिक एक्सरसाइजेस, बेसिक कैसे वर्कआउट करना है, डिस्कस विद ओटी और डिस्कस विद अस। ठीक है
सर, बेसिकली जो सेंसरी प्रोफाइलिंग हुई है,
हाँ
उसमें उनके थेरेपिस्ट ने उनको वेस्टिबुलर एंड प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव सीकिंग बोला है।
बिल्कुल, तो वही मैंने आपको सबसे पहले बताया, प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव इश्यूज।
और सर उसका जो बिस्तर वगैरह जो डे टाइम में होता है वही नाइट टाइम में बहुत ज्यादा चेंज नहीं करते हम लोग। उसका जो अपना बिस्तर है हम उसको बहुत ज्यादा चेंज नहीं करते, तो वो चीज सेम है। बट हमने थोड़ा फिगर आउट किया कि एसी से अगर ज्यादा ठंड हो जाती है तो वो उठ जाता है, एक लिमिट टेम्परेचर एक लिमिट में होना चाहिए। और ठंड के टाइम में भी वो चादर वगैरह नहीं उड़ता है, वो ऐसे ना कितनी भी ठंड पड़ती है चादर फेंक के ही सोएगा, तो हमको उसको स्वेटर वगैरह पहना के सुलाना पड़ता है। ये हैबिट है उसकी। और नींद जो है ये हमने अपनी टीम से भी डिस्कस किया काफी कि 5-6 आवर्स के बाद में जो नींद में ब्रेक होता है वो क्यों हो रहा है। नोबडी इज एबल टू एक्सप्लेन वो 5-6 आवर्स के बाद में क्यों ब्रेक हो रहा है। और ब्रेक होने के बाद में फिर वो क्या करेगा, या तो उसका कुछ एक दो फेवरेट सॉन्ग है, या तो बोलेगा गाना, सिंगल वर्ड्स में बोलता था, या तो गाना बोलेगा गाना लगाओ, या फिर हम लोग को।
हाँ, ये जो नींद जो आप बता रहे हैं ना, ब्रेक होने का पैटर्न, इस ब्रेक होने के कारण जो होता है, एक तो सेंसरी इश्यूज तो है, दूसरे इश्यूज होते हैं कि फूड इंटॉलरेंस, ग्लूटेन और केसिन जो होता है हमारी बॉडी में उसका इंटॉलरेंस हो, एक आप वो ग्लूटेन इंटॉलरेंस देखो। तीसरे इश्यूज होते हैं फंगल इश्यूज, जैसे कि मैं आपको यीस्ट इश्यूज बता रहा हूँ। ठीक है, तो ये 3-4 चीजें होती हैं। सबसे पहले सेंसरी है, सेंसरी पे आप काम कर रहे हैं। अगर आप ग्लूटेन और केसिन इंटॉलरेंस भी देखो, गट इश्यूज भी हो सकते हैं, वो भी बच्चों को रिजॉल्व करता है, वो भी प्रॉब्लम्स करता है रात में नींद स्लीप डिस्टर्ब करने में। सो
पहले उसको टॉयलेट में प्रॉब्लम होती थी, 3-3 4-4 दिन तक नहीं करता था, तो हमने 7-8 महीने से उसका दूध बंद केसिन फ्री कर रखा है। तब से हमको उसमें इम्प्रूवमेंट आ गया, उसका मोशन ठीक हो गया है, ऑलमोस्ट डेली वो मोशन करता है, ये ठीक हो गया दूध बंद करने के बाद। बट स्लीप वाला इशू अभी रिजॉल्व नहीं हुआ।
तो स्लीप वाला इशू शायद इसलिए रिजॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है कि एक तो सेंसरी पे और थोड़ा वर्क करिए कि क्या क्या कारण है। वेस्टिबुलर और प्रोप्रियोसेप्टिव तो आपने बता दिया, टेक्टाइल इश्यूज, और जो बेसिक चीजें मैं बता रहा हूँ विजुअल, ऑडिटरी, और एक जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है जो शायद आपने अभी नहीं करी होगी, फंगल इश्यूज के लिए।
नहीं सर, फंगल का तो हमने कुछ भी नहीं किया ना, कोई टेस्टिंग भी नहीं करी है। और ये फूड इंटॉलरेंस वाला हम 1-2 दिन में टेस्टिंग करने वाले हैं, टेस्ट वाला घर पे आएगा। तो हम यहाँ पे डॉक्टर दीपक गुप्ता को हमने कंसल्ट किया था,
ठीक
तो
है,
उन्होंने कुछ टेस्ट लिखे थे, 90 आइटम्स कुछ लिखे हुए हैं, वो हम टेस्टिंग के लिए 1-2 दिन में भेजने वाले हैं उसको।
ठीक है, आप उनको दिखाइए या मेरे को दिखा दीजिए, मैं पीतमपुरा में कहीं पे भी आप दिखा सकते हैं। बट एक वो यीस्ट इश्यूज का भी फैक्टर होता है, उसमें भी ये चीजें आती हैं जो दिक्कत करती है।
ठीक है सर, ईस्ट वाला हम कैसे रिजॉल्व करेंगे? और उसका सर एक चीज सर और मुझे आपसे पूछनी थी, बहुत ही अजीब, मतलब काउंटर इंट्यूटिव है। लोग बोलते हैं कि एंटीबायोटिक देने पे बच्चा अनसेटल हो जाता है, कंसंट्रेशन कम हो जाता है, लर्निंग थोड़ी कम हो जाती है। उसको फीवर हुआ था 2-3 बार से। मैंने ये देखा कि जब हम उसको एंटीबायोटिक पे रखते हैं, he is more calmer, more focused, more attentive and his grasping power increases. ऐसा क्यों है? इससे क्या कंक्लूजन निकाल सकते हैं?
नहीं, इसका कंक्लूजन कुछ नहीं है। एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि जब बच्चे को फीवर आ रहा है, हो सकता है उसको बार बार रिकरेंट फीवर आ रहा है, उसको कितने टाइम में फीवर आता है, सपोज मान लो महीने में उसको 5-6 बार फीवर आता है। ठीक है, अब जब महीने में 5-6 बार उसको फीवर आ रहा है तो उसका पूरा 1 महीने की साइकिल तो कंसंट्रेशन की डिस्टर्ब हो ही गई। अब आपने क्या किया, आपने उसको 5 दिन की एंटीबायोटिक दे दी। ठीक है, अब जो फीवर का कॉज था, ये मे बी कोई इन्फेक्शन था, उसके लिए उन्होंने डॉक्टर ने एंटीबायोटिक दी। उसका वो जो पैटर्न था फीवर का, वो 15-20 दिन के लिए, महीने के लिए बिल्कुल सेटल्ड हो गया, फीवर नहीं आया। अब जब उसको फीवर नहीं आया तो उसकी कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ गई। तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि एंटीबायोटिक से उसकी कॉन्सेंट्रेशन बढ़ रही है, इसका मतलब ये है कि उसको जब ये फीवर वगैरह नहीं आता तो उसकी कॉन्सेंट्रेशन बढ़ जाती है।
नहीं सर, फीवर उसको जो आता है 3-4 महीने में एक बार आता है, ऐसा नहीं कि महीने में 4 बार आ रहा है।
ठीक है।
और जब हम एंटीबायोटिक पे उसको रखते हैं, एंटीबायोटिक कोर्स जैसे चलता है, 2-3 दिन बीतता है, तो एंटीबायोटिक चलने और उसके कोर्स खत्म होने के 8-10-15 दिन तक वो बहुत ही ज्यादा लर्निंग एबिलिटी काफी बढ़ जाती है, काफी कंसंट्रेट करता है। तो हम इससे समझ नहीं,
वो इसलिए हो जाता है ना कि जो फीवर उसका आ रहा था उसका कारण होगा कुछ इन्फेक्शन, वो इन्फेक्शन रिजॉल्व हो जाते तो ही बिकम्स कंफर्टेबल।
तो सर ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कोई ऐसा इन्फेक्शन हो जिसकी वजह से कंटिन्यूअसली वो परेशान रहता हो, जिसको हम टेस्ट करवा सकते हो, जिसका
देखो ऐसा सिर्फ थ्रू दिस वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग बताना तो बहुत मुश्किल है, उसमें तो बच्चे को देखना भी पड़ता है, सब कुछ है। बट ये है कि ये कारण नहीं है कि एंटीबायोटिक से चीजें रिजॉल्व हो रही है, एंटीबायोटिक से तो चीजें और खराब हो जाती हैं, गट इम्यूनिटी डिस्टर्ब हो जाती है। बच्चे जो स्पेक्ट्रम में होते हैं उनकी गट इम्यूनिटी बिल्कुल कम हो जाती है, गट डिसबायोसिस हो जाता है, गट डिसबैलेंस हो जाता है, गुड बैक्टीरिया कम हो जाते हैं, यीस्ट बढ़ जाते हैं। ये जो चीजें आप जो ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हो वो इसलिए हो रहा है कि दे माइट बी सम सब क्लिनिकल और माइन्यूट इन्फेक्शन बॉडी में चलता रहता है जो उसको तंग करता है, which is not able to explain that, क्योंकि इतना हो सकता है कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाता है, अपनी नीड्स नहीं बता पाता है। तो जब आप एंटीबायोटिक देते हो उस चीज से वो कंफर्टेबल हो जाता है। सो जब उसका इंटरनल स्टेट एक कंफर्टेबल एनवायरनमेंट में होगा तो उसकी लर्निंग एबिलिटी भी बेटर होगी। एक चीज होती है जिसको हम बोलते हैं इंटेरोसेप्टिव, एक इंटेरोसेप्टिव सेंसरी सिस्टम होता है हमारी बॉडी में कि हमारी इंटरनल फीलिंग, हाउ वी फील अ बॉडी, वो बच्चों में लैक हो रही होती है इनमें। ठीक है।
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting here. Sir, we really need to close the session. We have exceeded the time. Mr. Rajya, अगर आपकी क्वेरी बाकी है तो प्लीज ड्रॉप अस एन ईमेल या फिर आप हमें व्हाट्सएप कर लीजिए, हमारा पेरेंट सपोर्ट ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर लीजिए एंड देयर यू कैन डिस्कस फर्दर क्वेरी।
मैम कांटेक्ट नंबर मेरे पास नहीं है, अगर मिल जाएगा तो मैं
सर आप
कांटेक्ट
चैट बॉक्स चेक करिए, वहां पे हमने डिटेल्स डाल दी है।
ओके मैम, ओके,
आप प्लीज वहां पे चेक कीजिए। Okay, so hope the session was helpul to all the parents, and if any query is remaining unanswered, I'm repeating the email. It is Giggles Clinics, giggles@gmail.com, or you can WhatsApp us at 81781 63066 or 9891009833. Thank you so much everyone for joining in. Thank you, Dr. Lalit.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Neil. Thank you.